Todd and Sunny here, and this week, as we continue our look through oddball Jaws ripoffs, we have Up from the Depths, which was directed by Charles Griffith. Now, he's better known as a screenwriter than as a director. He wrote the scripts for the original Little Shop of Horrors, Bucket of Blood, Attack of the Crab Monsters, Death Race 2000. Interesting fact. Up from the Depths was originally intended as a Jaws parody. And so there's a lot of humor in it. And much like Death Race 2000 was. And like Death Race 2000, when Corman saw it, he thought it would be better as more of a straight horror film, or as in Death Race 2000, straight action film. So he had it re-edited. But, again, like Death Race 2000, so much humor was in it that even with most of it cut out, there is still a lot of humor in it. This especially in the last third of the film, which we'll get to that when we get to it. Another interesting fact, it stars Sam Bottoms, who is the brother of Timothy Bottoms and Joseph Bottoms, kind of an acting family. And both Sam Bottoms and R. Lee Ermey, who has a small part in this film, were both in Apocalypse Now, which was filmed in the same area, Manila. Although this is set in Hawaii, it was filmed in Manila. Around the same time. I mean, they both came out around 79, so I'm wondering if there was any bleed over or if there was a delay that caused them to be able to film this with those actors. Don't know, but I do find it interesting. Now, Sam Bottoms is probably best known for the film appearances he did for Clint Eastwood. He appeared in two films, The Outlaw Josie Wales and in Bronco Billy. Outlaw Josie Wales is probably his best known of the two. He played Jamie, who is the injured writer that is with Josie Wales through the first half of the film. And of course in Apocalypse Now he was one of the torpedo boat crew. He was the one who was always stoned. So, and of course we all know R. Lee Ermey from Full Metal Jacket, where he played a drill instructor, which had been his occupation before he became an actor. Now, we open, as all Jaws-ish films do, with a diver diving. Now, she is putting sensors down around the bottom for Dr. Whiting, who is looking for something to do with current changes and things, and depth. When all of a sudden, yeah, I know I was kind of leading everybody on. I know you were expecting the attack there, but no, this is what leads to the attack.
I've had worse.
Yeah, I think she's a goner, sadly. Well, we then cut, after the opening credits, to the Hotel Paradise, right on the beach, where one of the guests has a slight mishap.
Hey, mister, you better watch out.
Watch out for what, Sonny?
That. Told you so. Look out! Don't let it touch you.
God.
Know what you're thinking? That's the girl's remains. Well, it isn't. No. We're going to see what it is in a second. See, the head of the hotel, Mr. Forbes, and his PR exec, Rachel, after he comped some drinks for them for this inconvenience, he and Rachel go off behind everybody where he can rant and rave about the Sullivans trying to run him out when Rachel sees what exactly it was that caused that mess.
In the hotel and get rid of all of us, and they are trying to humiliate me personally.
Wait!
Why should I wait for the Sullivans to ruin me?
Don't sit on that.
Oh my God, what's that?
Yeah, that's a half-eaten shark. Half-eaten shark. So whatever this thing is, it can eat sharks. As for these Sullivans, well, Forbes thinks they threw chum to cause problems because he doesn't like them and they don't like him. Now, the Sullivans are Earl and his nephew, Greg Oliver. And, well, they run like a fishing boat that will take people out to fish, among other things.
We've been diving the reef for years. Found this.
But the ivory and the jade, it's still down there?
Yeah?
Yep, they're a bunch of con artists selling fake treasure hunts to unsuspecting tourists. Meanwhile, the doc has finally come back to the island, and he reports his assistant's death as a drowning. She never came up. And he's not quite sure what happened. That is, until some local fishermen bring him some specimens to see if he'll buy them.
Say, them things got name?
Some of them.
Took that one at 30 feet.
This little guy is Sacropharynx schmidti. Never been found above 18,000 feet.
Inconceivable.
Yeah. Something that's usually at 18,000 feet is found at 30 feet. He's beginning to suspect that whatever caused that eruption of blood that probably killed his assistant might be something unknown that came from a higher depth caused by the earthquake we heard earlier. Also, one of the native workers at the hotel, Harry, makes a rather grisly discovery of his own.
Oh, the humanity.
Yeah. The assistant's arm. Well, he immediately tells Mr. Forbes, who tells him to throw it back. It's got nothing to do with us. It wasn't done on hotel property, and he doesn't want to hear any more about it. Swell guy. Well, the next day, while Greg is out hiding some coins at the wreck they're going to take the people to, kind of salting the mine, as it were. Rachel takes another hotel guest, Mr. LaSalle, who wants to get some pictures. He's a photographer, and since she's with him, might as well have her star in some of them, right?
Smile!
The sun's in my eyes.
Tis but a scratch.
Yeah. He's gone. And that was pretty shallow. But then sharks have been known to attack in as little as 3 feet of water. I read a lot of books about sharks when I was a kid. I was around when Jaws came out. Anyways, Rachel immediately tells Forbes, who once again Doesn't concern us. Didn't happen on hotel property. You don't know what really happened. We can't call the police. It would look bad. We can't let this get out to the other guests. Don't you have any consideration for the company? Anyways, Greg and Earl take their new marks along with Mr. Holland, who they've made fast friends with and is also an experienced diver, to go out. And then Greg and Mr. Holland go down, they start finding the coins, and then they find something else. An actual ivory and jade necklace. The treasure is actually real.
What?
Anyway, so is whatever it was that's been making people disappear. Holland's gone. Greg luckily makes it back aboard. And he is freaked out. And demands Earl head home. Holland's gone. We can't go down for him. There's a typhoon coming. Yeah, that's it. Once alone, he tells him something attacked Holland, something huge, and that the treasure's real. And Earl goes, wow, I always thought that was just a myth my dad told me. So they also make plans to do their own real treasure hunting down there. Well, when they get back, they notify the local constable there. Holland drowned, just like LaSalle, as Rachel was there. Now, Whiting sees both of them and knows. They've seen it too, he can tell, but they don't want to talk about it. Why would they? Well, the next morning, Harry tells Rachel and Greg about the arm he found, so they go to the police. So first they call the police. Well, no, he's not there. I'm sorry. So when they can't get a hold of the police, the local one, Greg talks Harry into taking them to where he found the arm. Well, that's been going on. The local cop is coming to talk to Doc Whiting because he knows something he hasn't told him. And through a lot of cryptic stuff, he explains there is something down there that came up from the upper depths. Probably got sent up because of the earthquake, and he wants to catch it before it goes back down. So he and the local constable, they head out to where, again, the girl was lost. Good thing they do, because this happens to Greg, Harry, and Rachel's boat.
You fell victim to one of the classic blunders.
Wow. Just guess they had to do the whole Flint losing his boat, the Orca, kind of thing from Jaws. Anyway, they're very lucky. Doc and the harbor officer are on the spot and pull Rachel and Greg up onto their boat, while Harry and some of the child divers in the area all make it to a small cave that thing won't fit in. Not so lucky is Iris Lee, a famed fashion model who's been taking pictures and is now doing some underwater pics. Now, I can't show you any of her photo shoot because it's topless. And you know YouTube. But I think I can get away with this. 3 of them. Good luck Forbes keeping that under wraps, especially when our chasers follow the thing to the hotel.
You son of a bitch! All right, we'll call it a draw.
Well, now they don't even have the local law. And since the entire hotel has seen what happened, everybody starts to check out. There's got to be a way that they can prevent this from being a disaster. And Forbes gets an idea.
I'm offering $1,000 for the head of this despicable animal. And you can bring it to me in as many pieces as you like.
And this is where the comedy kicks in.
Get a little pressure. Hey, why don't you just hug it off for yourself?
Go ahead.
Why don't you offer me a goddamn
Ah, look out!
Look out.
Don't panic!
Hey, you
Bacana!
Oh my God! Will you shoot it?
Yeah, it's all fun and games until the thing actually shows up. And then people start getting chomped. Well, while this has been going on, Greg, the Doc, and Rachel, they've all headed out to that one area again. And Greg and the Doc, they go down. They're going to try and capture it alive. That's what the Doc wants, so he can study it. Fortunately, he doesn't want to be taken alive, and it takes a big chunk out of him. And once he's pulled back up into the air, we get his last words.
Please don't throw me in again, fellas. Don't let it get me.
Oh, the humanity.
Oh, I wholeheartedly agree. I wouldn't want to go back down either. Well, they had their little itty bitty boat back to his bigger boat, and his assistant has an idea.
Plastic charge used for breaking up coral. Here's the cord and the detonator.
What'd you get for bait? Stop the engines! It's not going anywhere.
Bait? We didn't even think about bait.
No bait. What are they going to use for bait? Remember his last words? Yeah, they're going to forget about that. They strap it on him, toss him over his bait, and when the beast snaps at it, he pulls the wires off. Greg's going to have to go down and do this manually. Don't worry, he's okay. You remember how in Jaws, at the end, they had to swim back to shore? This one does one better. Personally, I wouldn't be getting all smoochy in that blood-soaked water, but I didn't just live through a traumatic experience. Anyhow, that was Up from the Depths. A okay Monster from the Deep movie. Don't get a lot of good shots of the creature. I do like the double fin. That was kind of neat. And it's sort of a prehistoric-like shark, I guess. But it's good action. Very disjointed, though, because it was re-edited from a comedy. And I did like some of the comedy. I did like Arlie Ermey blowing up his own boats. Gave some production value to the film too. But yeah, that silly stuff where everybody starts grabbing spears and crossbows and rifles, whatever they have, start heading out in the water in whatever boat they can find to kill this thing. No. Anyway, pretty good boat. Sam Bottoms does a pretty good job as the lead actor. He's just kind of a ne'er-do-well, you know, bit of a con artist, and he gets overly emotional at some points. I think they cut off scenes to get that. Although, you know, like maybe Holland was someone really close to him. And the whole treasure thing, that gets kind of dropped after it's brought up. Where the treasure's real, but then everything takes precedent over with the creature they have to kill. And maybe they go back and get the treasure after. I don't know. It's just kind of left there. I think though it might have been better as a comedy, it's still pretty gory for a lot of the attacks. So I don't know if it's going to be a dark comedy or not. But as is, it's a fairly disjointed action horror film comedy. And as it is, not that great. Okay. But there'd been so many Jaws knockoffs by this time with like tentacles, piranha, barracuda, orca. This was just one more. Although the Manila scenery is rather pretty. I did like that. The underwater effects are kind of murky, but I don't know if that's just from the copy I found. But no, I saw a different one, and it was just as murky. It's kind of hard to see in the water what this thing looks like and all that. But other than that, it's an okay time killer. Sam Bottoms had better films coming out after this, like, you know, Bronco Billy, Apocalypse Now. And of course, Arlie Ermey had his long career after this bit part in this as a rather drunken southern fisher expert. Well, there's really not much else to say about this. Please hit like, share, and subscribe, and as always, stay after the credits for my favorite scene.
It's out there! There are people out there!